Okay, so we are at the floating parliament at Cromwell's Gate. The ancient, we saw that word yesterday, palace drifts through the void, a monument to British democracy and the greatness it believes it brought to the high wilderness. The high wilderness. That would be the whole of space, including Albion, the Reach, and I guess so. An elderly guard watches with suspicion as you dock, but relaxes at the sight of fellow Londoners. Before exploring, let's complete that order. We have a moment of inspiration, really. Well, a zealous Under-Secretary is already planning next year's Guy Fawkes Night, a vital celebration of parliamentary democracy and high explosives. He wants the festivities by works to be seen and heard all the way in London, and is prepared to pay well for the ammo. The Under-Secretary asks probing, inexpert questions about the yield, lumens and decibels of your delivery. I want them to rattle Her Majesty's China? He admits savagely. China. Would be porcelain in French. Porcelain? Right. Okay. Oh, right. Because porcelain often came from China. Sure. That makes sense now. And there's a bargain for souls. Okay, I guess. And in that boutique, we cannot buy fuel, only supplies. So we might just have to come back to Brabazon. Okay, I guess I'll explore that part, hit the Wonder to lower terror, and then hit Brabazon if need be, and then we can set to exploring again. On that note, we should buy a bunch of supplies, but let's maybe see if the events give us some to begin with. Palace of Highminster. The Empress shipped the Houses of Parliament brick by brick from Old London to the High Wilderness to help her govern. She shipped it brick by brick. She did not send everything at once. Okay. It didn't take long for her to grow weary of the questioning of her authority and have it severed from London. So much for democracy, eh? Parliament now drifts free in this distant corner of the sky. It continues to pass laws, but hardly anyone pays attention. Let's compile a port report. While the palace is off limits to most, there are always ministers and civil servants whose busy schedules allow a moment for a free drink. You ask the obvious question: what is the point of Parliament when Her renewed Majesty never gives her assent to any of its proposed laws? They bristle. Tyrants fall. Democracy endures. That sounds wishful. A welcoming party. Smiling, nervous young people greet you as you disembark. "Excuse us," the man in the yellow rosette calls. "Excuse me, a minute of your time?" The smiling man wearing the yellow rosette cuts in first. "Captain, join our campaign to celebrate Albion and restore old-school patriotism to the land by officially renaming Wednesday as Victoria's Day. Praise Her renewed Majesty for all she has." The smiling woman wearing the green rosette effortlessly cuts in. "For killing democracy? For our subjugation? No, Captain. We must make a stand for freedom. We must show the Empress that we will not just sit idle. Join us as we triumphantly rename her precious Victoria sponge to the people's cake." What? They look at you with a hungry expectancy. What about the sponge? I'm missing something, clearly. Vote in support of the Empress, vote in opposition to the Empress. Keep walking. It would be good for the calendar industry anyway. So there are some Empress zealots in a place where I guess she is mostly disliked, right? Except we are in Albion, and so anything we do here could have consequences somewhere else. I'm not gonna take a public side, same reasoning as with the faculties and the stovepipes. Let's just say opportunistic. I see no benefit to clinging to either side here. Keep walking. The two of them show no interest in following you. They continue looking for new rivals willing to take part in the process, presumably ones who don't know full well that Parliament hasn't been in a position to pass laws in years. You are advancing your parliamentary career, am I? The Empress ship, we've read that. We could explore Traitor's Green. Sure, it was originally named for Cromwell. Someone clearly holds a grudge. The replanted gardens are a pleasant place to enjoy walk, though the buildings are out of bounds to casual visitors. The Empress's Gate is particularly fortified by a heavy chain and a padlock too rusted to ever be unlocked. A few protesters are taking a break to picnic on the lawn, away from the guards. Braver or more foolhardy ones sit on the aisle's edge, swinging their legs over the sky as they eat their sandwiches. It's near them that you spot the fellow in the suit, swaying uncertainly. His footsteps have taken him precariously close to the edge. Nobody seems to have noticed. That's a protester. He's on the edge and could fall. We could run over to help. He looks like an MP. MP? I don't know what is hiding behind that acronym. Sit back and watch. Mr. Darwin would know that. that is so cold and cruel. That's totally what we're gonna do. The rank man peers over the edge and begins relieving himself. Finished and content, he bends over to adjust his clothing and topples over into the abyss. A small army of civil servants soon swarms from the nearest gate, peering over and already arguing over who will buy the memorial sapling. They do not seem particularly shocked or surprised, merely inconvenienced. What's about a sapling? Are those just cultural references I do not get? I don't know. A tap on your shoulder distracts you. Excuse us, he glances you up and down. Yes, very suitable. A moment of your time. An election has been called in Lustrum. He sits at a huge mahogany desk in prestigious Downing corridor. Your conversation doesn't distract him from writing notes in the margins of endless pieces of paperwork. He pauses his scribbling only to sip from a large cup of stone-cold tea, or to scratch his head with the pen's long silver nib. Didn't he call me in for a discussion? Why is he writing stuff down? The hell? He looks down his nose at you with the grim expression of a headmaster waiting for an excuse to break out his favoured birch rod. A headmaster? Is he looking to beat me like he would a child? Is that what the birch rod is about? Tea? Ah, yes, I will call for some tea. The loss of our dear minister for... He hesitates, covertly checking a file. Lustrum, yes, is a tragedy, but we must move on. You seem just the sort I'm looking for. Lucid. Breathing. Have you considered a career in politics? He holds up a hand. No, I do not care about history or affiliations. Really? I have such great affiliations. A bum in the chair will suffice. Well, that's flattering. The Department of Albion Affairs would be a suitable starting point. If you are interested, I will set the wheels in motion. Visit the former minister's port if you wish to stand for election. You have been invited to become an MP. What is an MP? I know what an MP5 is, but that's the extent of my knowledge here. I guess this is cultural references. I guess British people are supposed to know what an MP is. Ministry, I don't know, parliamentary. I guess it's someone who works for the parliament. Okay, so we have to go to Lustrum if we want to move forward in that quest line. Sure. Observe the people's perpetual protest. A ragtag mob of protesters has set up camp on the lawn. No two want the same thing, but their cacophonous chanting is impressive. Parliament has little power, but at least there is a chance it might listen. That is more than protesters can expect at the throne of ours. The protesters raise their voices with a spirit of camaraderie. Camaraderie, where do you stress that? That's a French word, but... of camaraderie, and the united belief that words can still make the world a better place, with neither anger in their words nor violence in their demands. At 3 on the dot, the huge portcullis open, and the protesters are served tea, scones, and little cucumber sandwiches cut into triangles. Stop it with the cucumber sandwiches. Such horror. A little recognition of the protesters' ongoing service to this most vital part of British democracy. We do not sound like someone who would join a protest, so we'll ignore it. The crowd continues raging against whatever it is they disapprove of. You leave them to it and return to the quieter, more civilized greenery of the main lawn. That's it. Okay, well, we don't have too many options. We could buy crockery here. Good to know. Okay, well. I guess we can go... What would be the most efficient way to scout? We expect there to be a passage here. No. It's maybe something like that. Ah, but we have to go around the parliament, which is a pretty big structure. Then we just go west. If we can. Scout is gonna be a problem, actually. Scout. Fuel is gonna be a problem, but we can't scout. That would be the edge of the map, right? Found nothing. Well then... let's go that way. I think we can fully explore that part and still reach that with what little fuel we have. I don't know what happens if we run out of fuel, actually. I guess we won't fully scout. I do want to know whether there is a passage here. It's a cantankery. We don't care too much. There's no passage. Okay. So let's hit the Wander on our way and then go back to Brabazon for fuel. A giant has fallen. Yeah, it would be Ben. Oh, he's the one making that distorted sound. Right. Shut up, Ben. What is that? A ministry. Please, please, please. Mom. No, you may not burn my librettos for fuel, the clay conductor says after an imprudent suggestion by a stalker. Yeah, we would have quite the incident on our hands. Bleak place, high and windy as they headed north. Stuck. Imagine living out a mayfly span and never seeing the sky. Vagabond shudders. Yeah, that would be fine. I mean, the sky is quite a dangerous place. The last day, a horn blares. The factory doors creak open. Those world-worlders, lucky enough to have reached the end of their service, blink in the light of freedom. They were young when they first arrived. Now their skin is calloused and wrinkled, aged not only by hard labor, but the slow-burning light of the clockwork sun. You could help them with their paperwork, or recruit them. We are full crew, let's try that. They are due to be released, but Brabazon never makes it easy. Well, that's lucky. According to Zoo Section 4B2, the overseer is most displeased when you turn up with one of her workers, forms all correctly filed out and stamped. They are forced to release the prisoner on schedule. Your only reward is a smile from the prisoner and a scowl from the overseer. It is enough. Some terror relief, that's always good. Anything new here? We could try and join the tour again. I would rather like to do that with a permit or hours to protect myself. Bizarre. Oh, we could buy ammo here. We don't have any more ammo, in fact. Well, let's think then. If we buy ammo, we are gonna want to deliver them back to London. It could be good, because we don't have any in store. Yeah, I guess let's do that. Let's first explore this little bit. Little niece. Little indeed. Please. I can't see the name now. What the hell? Okay, so this does bring me to the relay. Is there a passage here? Well, that's handy. And that's the proper work world. Okay then. I guess next time we go back to Brabazon we can scout that. What are you doing? Yeah, you wanna go? Wow. Impressive. Check out mine. An Albion Marauder mangled. We could loot the hull. We'll just repair our hull. Or hull. Is that not it? Ah, here.